with the area of ABFM. What are we dealing with today? We are dealing with Module D, Startup Finance. We started dealing with the startup finance in the last class, right? So I'm going to continue further with startup finance. What do you mean by the term startup? Startup is an organization which has just started, and just matlab in the last 10 years it has just started. It was earlier a different definition, but now it is 10 years. Their working is absolutely new in the market and they are trying to improve themselves further, है ना? मतलब they are trying to put themselves as a specific organization with an identity in the market. And obviously when they are trying to establish themselves in the market, they need some kind of motivation. How do they have that motivation, everyone? Where is the place where they are trying to grow? When they are trying to grow themselves, there are certain things that they will do. First of all, they will need money. They will need money. Income tax department has given exemptions to them in the first 10 years. The government has provided them finances for this as well. While when we talk about the area of recognition, there are different rewards given to them so that now they can actually keep on working. Recognition is the key na. If you recognize someone's work, whatever they are doing, they would love to continue that particular work for a longer period. This is a basic ideology of human being. If you recognize their hard work, then they will definitely do it for a longer period. Right? So here comes the first question. What is the main goal of MNRE? Startup Grand Challenge. It is to lower the carbon emissions or to promote the fossil fuels consumption or to increase energy dependence or none of the above, everyone. ठीक है? What's the answer? This is done to lower the carbon emissions. When you are trying to reduce the carbon emission, this is increasing the ultimate work of these organizations and this they are being recognized. है ना? Thank you so much. So move on. What is the focus of startup India single-use plastic international challenge? Acha, this is one of the things. The bigger or the more thicker the layer of the plastic is, it takes वैसे ही already it takes a lot of time to decompose plastic. It takes way more time for this kind of plastic. This plastic causes a lot of harm to the soil even if it is dumped in the soil. So, and it is very hard to use this kind of plastic even. So they started saying that use a plastic which is single use. The plastic which is for the single use plastic now, in this case what they do is they are promoting single use plastic. They are developing small solutions to reduce single use plastic or encourage plastic dumping. Actually now the plastic is not supposed to be used only once. If it is recyclable, then that's the best thing to happen. Recyclable matlab you don't have to make more plastic. Whatever plastic is already circulated in the market, that same plastic can be used for other purposes. For example, when we talk about milk pouches, if it is uncut, then the same pouches can be recycled. They can be cleaned up, they can be recycled and used again. Now this kind of thing is the focus of Startup Challenge. It doesn't want to promote single-use plastic. Single-use plastic matlab you can make more plastic. We will have to make more plastic for other uses. Encouraging plastic waste dumping? No. You are developing design solutions to reduce single use. है ना? What documents are required for registration under the single point registration scheme? PAN card, Aadhaar card, UAM, Udyog Aadhaar Memorandum, or EM Part 2, that is optional. And then we have passport and driving license. And then we have the birth certificate and educational certificates. When you're trying to register under a single point registration scheme, then the answer is B. Udyog Aadhaar Memorandum or EM Part 2. Which organization is responsible for registering micro and small businesses under the single point registration scheme? Ministry of Finance, National Small Industries Corporation, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, or RBI? The one single point place where these are recorded. These are recorded at one specific place. That means they don't face any problem further in terms of the registration. They don't have to go to multi registrations for having different schemes. They will just get it once. The answer is NSIC, National Small Industries Corporation. They get themselves registered under NSIC. Their registration is complete, so their existence is registered at multiple areas altogether. You don't have to get yourself registered every now and then, है ना? And that is the basic reason that they prepare this. Okay, next point. What is the main objective of single point registration scheme, everyone? SPRS, to increase government purchase from large scale business, to facilitate registration of micro and small enterprises for the government procurement, and then to encourage foreign investment in Indian industries, or none of the above. What is the main objective of the single point registration program? This is the government is not trying to have large scale purchases, of course. In this case, they are just trying to facilitate the registration of MSMEs, which is definitely very difficult. If you are registering under multiple schemes, then it will take a lot of time, and the recognition and everything else will take a lot of time again too, because registrations are definitely not easy, है ना? So the answer in this case would be B. What is the primary focus of Startup India with regard to women entrepreneurs? Implementing new tax laws, launching new programs, and forming networks, providing subsidies for female owned businesses, or encouraging male dominated business. See, the last one is definitely out. When it comes to women entrepreneurs, they have actually started providing a lot of finances and subsidies to the women entrepreneurs so that they can actually develop themselves. Okay? They want that women entrepreneurs should also be getting a good work. The women entrepreneurs should also be getting guidance. They need subsidies for everybody needs subsidies for the business. There is no point where nobody needs a particular guidance for their businesses. Everybody needs it, because if you want your business to grow, then how can you make it grow without any aids? है ना? In this case, you need finances, and the finances can be given by reducing prices for you, by giving you subsidies. This is basically providing subsidies for female owned businesses. Actually, they are also helping in terms of finances as well, and they're also helping the women entrepreneurs to grow by uplifting their skills as well. All these things are being done so that women can be independent, launching new programs and forming networks. What amendment was made to Section 80 IAC of the Income Tax Act? This is basically 80 IAC is related to the area of Income Tax Department, where we talk about reduction in the eligible startup turnover criteria, increase in the eligible startup turnover criteria, removal of deductions from eligible startups, and introduction of new taxes for eligible startups. What's gonna be the answer? 80 IAC of income tax is basically helping the eligible startups to eligible startup increase turnover criteria. They have increased the turnover criteria so that these organizations, more of the startups can grow further. Because leaving the startups in such a situation where the startups are not able to grow at all, that's wrong now. You need them a space to grow, right? If these startups are getting aids, if they are being recognized for their work, then this will not only help them to get the required assistance and funds from the market, but this will also help them to grow further as well. Under Section 54GB, what conditions must be met to be exempt from paying of income tax on capital gains, everyone? Acha, 54GB, investing a net concentration in the government bonds. Government bonds is not this. Government bonds is 54F, I believe. No, 54EC. Rural electrification bonds, and there are certain bonds where you invest, and this is up to 50 lakhs in the financial year in which we have purchased it. Utilizing the amount of subscription and equity shares of an eligible startup, utilizing the amount of personal expenses, and no conditions need to be met. What's going to be the answer? The answer is utilizing the amount of subscription for utilizing the amount for subscription of in equity shares for eligible setup. Acha, I remember it. There's a particular way of learning it. It depends upon you how do you want to learn it, but this is how I learned it. If you understand Hindi even a bit, what I did was 54GB is घर बेचकर बिजनेस शुरू करना. घर मतलब the house there. So this is घर sold and business started. ठीक है ना? घर means your house. So you sell your house or any other specific property when you want to start your business. You might be selling your jewelry, you might be selling your property, you might be selling any of these things so that you can actually start making more money from your business. What condition allows the carrying forward to business losses in the case of qualifying startups, everyone? Majority stakeholders must remain unchanged. Then majority stakeholders must sell their shares. And no conditions applying for carrying forward losses or minority stakeholders. What's going to be the answer, everyone? Majority no conditions applying for carrying forward the losses. And then we have minority stakeholders must take over. The answer is majority stakeholders must remain unchanged. If the majority stakeholders are gone, then if the majority stakeholders are gone, then we can do nothing. No? The organization doesn't remain the same, right? Because if the majority shareholders are gone, then things definitely changed a lot. Next is what modification was made to the company's acceptance of deposits rules 2014 by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Increased maximum deposit limits for the private companies. Then we have exclusion of convertible notes from the definition of deposits for the startup companies. And then we have mandatory deposits requirement for all the private companies, or none of the above. The correct answer in this area is exclusion of convertible notes from the deposits in the startup companies, right? Done, everyone? Exclusion of convertible notes from definition of deposits for the startup companies. What is the objective of Startup Seed India Fund? Seed Fund Scheme. To provide funding for well-developed businesses, to assist new businesses in establishing proof of concept and developing prototypes, to provide loans to startups for commercial banks, and to encourage startups to seek funding from investors. Startup Seed India Fund is basically when you treat the organizations like a seed. Seed matlab, it starts from this particular point. This is where they are starting, they need some finances, they want to grow further. So these are Seed India funds. है ना? Startup India Seed Fund Scheme. When we talk about this specific scheme altogether, this specific fund is related to the area of to assist a new business in establishing, thank you, proof of concept and developing prototypes. They are basically doing prototypes. Prototypes matlab, prototypes basically means you create the mini versions of the main thing so that people can actually invest in it. Now, what does it mean that people see? People should be able to see if I want to invest in your organization. I would like to see what is your exact product. That is what we cover in this area. Okay. Chaliye, that's it for the day, everyone. But before I end this particular session, have you gone through our website yet? You should be going through it. Acha, we have just started our, we would be looking forward towards our second class of the batch that have just started, that we have just started for CAIIB. CAIIB June 2024. New batches have just started. Please go through this specific area. Take it. Just a moment. Let me take you to that specific area. Okay, just a moment. Okay, go to our website www.adda247.com. Go on to the area of JIB and CIB. Once you go into this area, look at this CIB 2024, and this is where you will find our Mahapacks and the batches. The live target batches have just started. Don't forget to look forward towards our batches as early as possible. Thank you so much for being there, everyone. We'll be meeting tomorrow, and use the code Y541 to get maximum discount. Click on the area of buy now and use the code Y541. ठीक है? Okay. This is use the code Y541 and apply it. So you'll get it at 55